In this gripping tale, I recount a harrowing experience that unfolded during a clandestine experiment gone horribly wrong. A group of scientists, driven by their quest to transform ordinary humans into superhuman beings, embarked on a dangerous and illegal venture. What started as a groundbreaking scientific breakthrough soon devolved into a nightmarish ordeal. As the experiment spiraled out of control, the scientists faced unimaginable horrors as their creations, now monstrous and erratic, wreaked havoc, leading to chaos and death. Join me as I share this terrifying story of human ambition, madness, and the catastrophic consequences of tampering with nature. Story. It began with a sense of excitement, a thrill of the unknown that drove a group of scientists to push the boundaries of human capability. They were not just seeking to enhance human abilities, but to redefine them entirely. The experiment aimed to transform ordinary people into beings of extraordinary power. The vision was grand, the potential limitless, but what lay ahead was far from the anticipated success. In the depths of a secluded laboratory, the experiment commenced. The scientists, consumed by their ambition, paid little heed to the ethical and moral boundaries they were crossing. They injected test subjects with a series of experimental compounds designed to enhance physical and mental capacities. What they didn't foresee was the volatile nature of their concoction. As the days passed, the test subjects began to exhibit strange and unsettling changes. Their physical forms morphed into grotesque and monstrous shapes, and their minds, once stable, deteriorated into chaotic, unpredictable states. The transformations were horrifyingly irreversible. Instead of gaining control and power, the subjects became uncontrollable forces of destruction. The once pristine laboratory quickly devolved into a scene of utter pandemonium. The newly created beings, driven by a mix of rage, confusion, and newfound powers, began to wreak havoc on their creators. The scientists, now facing the results of their hubris, were caught in a deadly game of survival. The creatures they had so recklessly unleashed on the world showed no mercy, and the once sterile environment became a battleground of horror. Each encounter with these beings was more terrifying than the last. The laboratory's security measures, once thought foolproof, proved inadequate against the enhanced strength and cunning of the transformed subjects. The scientists were forced to confront not only the monstrous creations, but also their own inner demons, as guilt and fear took a toll on their sanity. As the situation grew increasingly dire, it became clear that the experiment had unleashed forces beyond their control. The laboratory was no longer a place of scientific discovery, but a dark, twisted arena of survival. The creatures, now driven by their primal instincts and the chaos of their transformation, became agents of destruction. I witnessed firsthand the horrors of their creation. The experience was a relentless nightmare, filled with moments of sheer terror and helplessness. Every corner of the laboratory held potential danger, every shadow a possible threat. The once promising experiment had turned into a macabre test of survival, with lives hanging in the balance. In the end, the consequences of tampering with nature became tragically evident. The experiment not only failed, but also brought about a disaster of unimaginable proportions. The laboratory was left in ruins, a grim testament to the dangers of overreaching human ambition. The surviving scientists were left to grapple with the remnants of their shattered dreams and the eerie legacy of their creation. The once thriving laboratory was now a haunted shell of its former self. The walls, smeared with the evidence of violent struggles, stood as silent witnesses to the chaos that had ensued. The air was thick with the acrid stench of chemical decay and fear. The surviving scientists, a small group that had managed to evade the initial onslaught, were left to confront the grim reality of their failure. Among them was Dr. Elena, a brilliant but ethically questionable mind whose ambition had driven the experiment. Now, her guilt was palpable as she surveyed the wreckage. She knew that their attempt to control what was meant to be beyond control had unleashed forces they could neither comprehend nor contain. As the days turned into a blur of frantic survival, the scientists faced a new, horrifying challenge. The transformed beings, now partially adapted to their environment, continued their relentless pursuit. The creatures had evolved beyond their initial states, exhibiting a terrifying intelligence and adaptability. They roamed the laboratory's halls, their grotesque forms casting long shadows in the flickering light. Desperation set in as the scientists tried to regroup and find a way out. Their efforts to repair the damaged systems and secure the remaining research were futile. Every plan they devised was thwarted by the cunning and ferocity of the creatures. The very technology they had hoped would save them now served as a cruel reminder of their hubris. Dr. Elena, burdened by the weight of her decisions, sought a solution that could end the nightmare. She believed that if they could destroy the central research core, which housed the primary control systems and remaining samples of the experimental compounds, they might be able to halt the mutations and stop the creature's proliferation. However, this meant risking their lives in a final, desperate mission. The group, consisting of a few remaining scientists and a handful of security personnel, embarked on the perilous journey to the core. They navigated the dark, crumbling corridors of the laboratory, their every step accompanied by the unsettling sounds of their monstrous creations. The tension was palpable, each creak and groan of the building heightening their sense of dread. As they reached the central chamber, they were met with an overwhelming sight. A core, once a symbol of scientific progress, was now a nest of twisted machinery and erratic energy fields. The creatures had found their way into the chamber, their inhuman shrieks echoing through the space. The scientists fought valiantly, but the creatures' strength and ferocity proved too great. The battle was intense, a chaotic blur of movement and sound. In the midst of the chaos, Dr. Elena managed to reach the core's control panel. With trembling hands, she initiated the self-destruct sequence, knowing it was their only chance to prevent further disaster. As the countdown began, the chamber was filled with a blinding light and an intense heat. The creatures, sensing their imminent demise, became more frenzied, attacking with even greater desperation. The surviving scientists fought to hold them off, their every effort a testament to their determination to atone for their mistakes. In a final, climactic explosion, the core detonated, engulfing the laboratory in a massive fireball. The force of the explosion sent shockwaves through the building, and the laboratory was consumed in flames and debris. The creatures, caught in the blast, were obliterated, and the once proud facility was reduced to ruins. The survivors, barely escaping with their lives, were left to reflect on the aftermath. The catastrophic experiment had claimed countless lives and left a trail of destruction. The secrets of the laboratory, along with the horrors it had unleashed, were buried in the wreckage. The survivors were left to grapple with the profound implications of their actions and the moral cost of their ambitions. As I recount this story, it serves as a chilling reminder of the dangers inherent in playing with forces beyond our control. The pursuit of knowledge and power, when driven by unchecked ambition, can lead to consequences far graver than anticipated. The laboratory story is a testament to the fragility of human endeavors and the catastrophic potential of our own creations.